Okay, so today I'm doing something completely unexpected, which is really stupid considering the fact that I haven't been streaming lately at all. I'm always a stickler about not missing days, but I did this with the Super Bowl too. I guess like I reacted live, so obviously I'm not going to show anything from it because you can't do that. But like I'm watching it live, so it's just starting, just about like I should maybe timestamp it. It's like it's 3:39. I don't know how you would do it if you were watching like. I guess I'll keep saying what the time is and stuff. But it hasn't started yet, so I'm predicting obviously that the Nuggets are going to win. Jokic is going to have a big game. I don't really even watch or follow too much the sport, but just like certainly with the NFL, I don't follow at all. So that was just like me watching almost for the first time. But this is like I know a lot about the lore, and I kind of know a lot about the history. I did that 1 week on my debate format like 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, where I discussed like sports, and I had some good basketball takes and stuff in there. So I've always sort of had a sort of appreciation for it. But I had predicted actually that the Warriors were going to win the whole thing, which was a pretty good prediction. Obviously, if Curry wasn't hurt, it probably would have made sense. People are stupidly saying like, oh, the Wolves are actually good, or they might actually win the whole thing, which is nonsense because, you know, they're a 6 seed. They were lucky to even beat the Warriors. Like, I don't know why you would be on that. In fact, the whole thing is wide open. So I would say this is literally like game 7 of the NBA finals right now, because whoever wins this is definitely going to win the whole thing. The East got blown up with Boston choked it when they were supposed to be a good, returning, repeating champion. They blew it for some reason, lost the first 2 games. You can't even use the Tatum injury really to say that's why they lost, because they're already down 3-1, lost the first 2 games. And I guess it's not that surprising because that's what they did in to the Heat. They go down 0-3 to the Heat the 1 year, right, where Butler makes a name for himself there. Like, they have a history of choking, even though Jaylen Brown's one of my favorite players. I don't understand sometimes what they're doing. So that was a surprise. So again, the East is wide open. The Cavaliers were a disappointment. Fakest #1 seeds of all time, sort of, meme that you could use. And so even though Mitchell played really, really good, we need Joe Buck out here with the Mitchell, a disgusting act by Mitchell. Like how monotone. He's like me, almost as monotone as me. What we're going to have here is the East is wide open. I think the Pacers will beat the Knicks, but that makes it so easy. That's very, very easy pickings for whoever wins this. And the Timberwolves also, again, they're not that good. So whoever wins this is going to roll over them. Like the Nuggets almost just beat them last year, and they got rid of Karl Anthony Towns, and you've seen the impact he's had on the Knicks. So I said that, okay, here the game has started. It is first quarter, 11:54, 53, 52. This is more for like if you're watching. I'll upload it to YouTube after. I enjoyed that Super Bowl one, even though I don't really care for the NFL or anything or know anything about it. That was pretty fun to react to. But no, this is gonna be an amazing, amazing game because it comes down. That's what you should say, like, right? Like, don't allow the best player to reach a game 7, right? And Shai's a terrific player, it's fine, but don't let a player like Jokic get to a game 7, because you've seen that, like with Luka. I call it the Luka special, right? I made that joke. It was pretty good. My friend always comments some of these that I say offhandedly. The Luka special is when you outscore the other team in like the first quarter or the first half, right? Like where Luka did that to the Suns in game 7. It's like the Suns are better, but it doesn't matter because you let him get to a game 7 and then he just single-handedly beats you. Or he did the same thing to the Wolves in the game 5, right, last year. You let him have that chance. So that's what's going to happen. It doesn't matter that the Thunder are better. It's just somehow you shouldn't have let it get to this point. So the Thunder's best chance of winning would have been in game 6, right? You got to finish it, close it out. Don't give him a chance. It's like the Kyrie Irving effect. He would always have that record. That was a good move by Brown. I always hate his name because it sounds like Braun is how it's spelled, but you say it Brown. But like Kyrie had that stat, which he doesn't have anymore, but anytime he had a chance to eliminate a team, he always would, right? If he was up 3-2 or 3 whatever, he would always have a 100% record. So you never and he's still like a second tier star, but like this is what I mean. You don't let these players get to this game 7. So no, I like what Jokic has this reputation, like he doesn't care and he just wants to get back to his horses and stuff. But Jokic, and even though he would deny it, he got his coach fired. Obviously, Michael Malone, he started to be a player coach. He thinks he's Bill Russell. He's trying to do all these things where, he seems to care so much and misses a wide open shot. Dort. But no, you have a situation where he gets his coach fired. He starts to become a player. Oh, look how they're coming out too. Missed a wide open 3. And I like Michael Porter, but he's been pretty bad this series. Like he's just instant offense. Just he's a catch and shoot. Just give him what he's got. He's been really bad, but but yeah, the thing is that it's actually very distracting for some reason. That's why I like listening to instrumental music. Like when I play chess, it's very distracting listening to commentary when I'm talking. Like I don't mind listening to music or whatever, right? But when it's like an ad that's talking here or the commentary of the commentators, it does make it a little more annoying. So the thing is that what was I gonna say? An ad for Wingstop. Can you believe I've never had one? Or maybe they just don't have them in my area. I don't even know. I don't feel like I've really seen them, or maybe I just don't pay attention. But no, my point was, don't let players like Jokic or LeBron or whoever, like the all-time greats, don't let them get to a game 7, because then you're giving them you just have a big game and that's it. Like it doesn't matter who's better at that point. That's like the college or the NFL thing, right? Like the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter who's better. It's one game. What if you just have a bad game, right? Like the Giants beat the Patriots in their undefeated season, right? All it takes is one big play or one bad game or whatever. It's every game is a game 7, so that has its ups and downs, but yeah, so Jokic will have a big game and they'll win, and I think they'll go on to win the whole thing. Again, you could say that, I hate that sort of aspect of predictions that you say like, oh, you predicted the Warriors would win, and then Curry gets hurt, and then, oh, they lost. So no, oh, look, haha, I was wrong. I was sure wrong, right? You could rub it in their face. Like, but are you really wrong if, obviously, if he's their best player isn't going to play, what do you expect, right? Like, obviously, I would stand by it. So there's nothing you're not really wrong in saying that, right? It's like people who bet on Kawhi and the Clippers every year, even though this year he was healthy and that was a surprise. I kind of, shocked by that. But, oh, you bet on the Clippers, but then Kawhi gets hurt. Like, obviously, then it's not, you're assuming he's healthy. It's not really fair. Look at it that way. So the thing is that what else? I have so many good takes to like draw upon from the past, but like for example, the GOAT thing for LeBron. Let's just address that. Like people who make the GOAT case for LeBron, the strongest case you have is the longevity now, the fact that he's the all-time leading scorer, which I never would have expected. If you asked me years ago, 10 years ago, I would have never imagined, just because of injuries, whatever age, I wouldn't have expected it, obviously. So for him to do that is very impressive, but that's the same argument you could have used for Kareem. So the only people who could say LeBron is the GOAT based on that, which is really the best credible argument that you have, is longevity and being the all-time leading scorer, would be that you should have been saying Kareem was the GOAT, right? But nobody gives him that respect. So you ignore Kareem, but now when LeBron does it, oh, he's the GOAT. People propping up Michael, but now that's a different standard. So my standard is a peak performance. That's why Wilt would be my GOAT, right? Regardless of all the fallacies people have about him that I won't even get into now. But nobody else did what he was doing. Same era. There were other tall players. There have been players with bigger height advantages. Manute Bol, George Marasan. It doesn't translate. The rules weren't that different. None of it matters. Like, he was just great, right? You can't use the era thing because everybody else played in that era too. And I love how people say that with, okay, we're at 9 minutes 30 seconds in the first. With like the Celtics, like, which is it? So, oh, it was an uncompetitive era where one team won 11 and 13 years, but then you use that against Wilt, like, oh, so in other words, Wilt had to face a team that won 11 times in 13 seasons. Which, if it was like LeBron, you'd say, oh, but it's the Warriors with Kevin Durant. It's so unfair. He's not supposed to beat that team. It's the Spurs in 2007 that he got swept by. But with Wilt, it's like, oh, it's an uncompetitive era in which one team is more dominant than we've ever seen in history, where wouldn't that be an excuse for like, that's kind of unfair to him? So I don't know what you mean by competitive or not competitive. Like, and like for Bill Russell, you could say something else too. Like, well, Russell only won that many because it was an uncompetitive era, but everyone was part of that uncompetitive era. So how come he was able to take advantage and the Celtics were able to take advantage, but nobody else was able to? So like, it's an equalizing factor. So it's not actually an argument. I always use that in chess too. Like, you know, people say Paul Morphy was way ahead of his time. So, but instead of giving credit, well, look at Brown is playing so confidently. He's doing everything like so swag. I love that. You gotta. Aaron Gordon turned into Aaron Jordan. Like, you know, he's hit like 100 clutch shots every time he gets late in the game. He's hitting some big shot, right? Every single game. So yeah, I've been making that joke. There's like these AI videos that people have been making, so I even scripted out a couple and my friend made them, even though I don't like the idea of using AI that way. I've been using that sort of TTS voices anyway in my muted streams, but yeah, they have like a lot of good athletic players who aren't really always the best, like Michael Porter or Aaron Gordon. They can dunk, they're good athletic bodies, they can shoot. That's the way you use Michael Porter, is just let him run the floor and dunk, or let him catch and shoot. All the other stuff he doesn't have to do, he shouldn't do. Like, look at him right here. He's just standing there. He's not doing anything. He's not moving without the ball. He gets a rebound, and he just passes. He never passes. He always scores. I mean, you had Jokic, or he always makes it. He did a bit of a flop there, but it's the free throw merchant contest that people, and you know, I don't hold that against the player though. Like, Shea can do whatever he wants with that, but blame the refs, blame the, that really wasn't even a foul too. He made the motion before he made the motion before anybody even touched him, because he knew the time was almost out. He didn't even have time to throw up one of his weird cannon shots that always go in, like how he hits it over Anthony Davis, or he hits these long turnaround weird threes that are just impossible. Right? At a certain point, you can't say that's luck, because obviously he's doing it consistently, so it's skill. But yeah, like there's all these weird, like, oh, he's not making an MVP case, he's making a GOAT case, but there's all these people, like just how great he plays in these moments. He's people are saying, oh, is he better than some of these other all-time great centers? The only problem with him is, like, he can't be better than Hakeem Olajuwon, because, you know, Hakeem played both ends, right? So wow, he was one of the best defenders ever, and one of the best. It's like a flopping contest too. That was a flop by Dort. Yeah, Gordon looks a little bit off, but I mean, he can hit a big, oh shit, he can hit a big shot at the end. That's been his role. But no, I like Michael Porter, but yeah, he has like the perfect NBA body. He's like a 2K build, right? My player build. He's, you know, he's big and strong, but mobile. He can dunk, he can shoot, he can run. He could be a good defender, but he's sometimes not. Like, he's just versatile. It's hard to explain, but he has like the perfect NBA body to just be mobile, but also athletic, right? Yeah, Shea is good, really good, you know, but Jokic, you know, you could even say Shea is great, but Jokic is all-time great right now at a point that, and even speaking of defense, like, oh, you know, Shea is playing both ends. You know, certainly people compare him to a younger Kobe or something like that, but it's just, or that would be one way to have predicted this outcome of the Nuggets winning, is Shea's style of play He's baiting fouls. He's giving Shea a taste of his own medicine. Shea Dildos Alexander, as they call him in the like Mahomo with the Super Bowl. We kept making fun of that. Not that I'm really saying it or there's anything wrong with that, but people kept calling Patrick Mahomes and Mahomo, and then Shea Dildos Alexander. But no, it's like the Nuggets just aren't that deep, though. I mean, they rely too much on Jokic, and Murray's one of those frustratingly inconsistent players, like Chris Middleton. Like, where one game he'll go 5 for 25, and then the next game he'll have a great game. You know, just very, very inconsistent in a way that is annoying. But no, it's like the James Harden effect. Like, oh, James Harden could win MVP, but then he always flames out in the playoffs. But it's not that hard to predict, and it's almost not even their fault because you play one way in the regular season and you rely on the fouls and you rely on certain, you know, freedom of movement. But then in the playoffs, you don't do that. The OKC is coming out cold, but Choklahoma shitty blunder, as was called at one point. Good pause, stop by Brown. Yeah, Brown has started off very confident. Like, just the way he's moving is like he's always so sure of himself this game. It feels like Shea doesn't really like taking threes as much as you might think. But yeah, in a way, Westbrook is going to get his revenge on Oklahoma City. Not by winning this game even, although he will, but by... That was like such a slow move by Gordon too, but you let him get away with it. But by shooting so many bricks that he's going to build a new Seattle Supersonics arena and become an owner of that. That's what KD should do, or somebody should do right when they retire, is try to do that project. It would be so good to see Seattle have a team back. So yeah, I'm watching on YouTube TV just because whatever. I don't actually use it, but I just got like a free trial just to do this one thing. Like, you know, this is not something I do very often, but maybe I should. I mean, I don't mind doing it, but it's kind of, I'm not really like a React content type of guy. It's just like this era is so weird because I can't even blame it. Like, oh, everybody can shoot, and that's a net positive. Like, literally, centers are better shooters than guards used to be. What is Brown doing? Oh, now they're glazing Caruso's defense, but Brown was just standing there doing nothing. See, that's the normal Brown, indecisive. Like, what's he doing? Versus every other move, he's been so confident and so decisive with what he's doing. That's what role players always, you want them to do. Don't be indecisive. You get it. You make a move quick because you're not the star. So don't dribble too much. Don't do anything. Make a move or get out of there or pass it, you know. Wow, okay, OKC's like getting these near misses a lot. Like, they're starting off cold and they're starting off like in and out, a lot of in and out shots. There've been a lot of crazy comebacks this postseason though, so you wouldn't think any lead is safe. Or that's the one thing about Tom Thibodeau, who's you could have all these things that either my friend says or that I say and then he quotes them. Like, now you see why Tom Thibodeau is the GOAT coach, because he doesn't rest his players even if he's down by 20 points. You know why? Because he overcame a 20-point deficit like in 3 games in a row or whatever against the Celtics, or in that series he did that a lot. So like, no lead is safe from this guy, right? He's actually, now you understand. Even though unfortunately people say that's why Rose got injured and he overdoes it. It's like, no lead is safe from him, so it's okay to do that. It doesn't matter if he does that, and the reason why is because you know, the problem is if I go AFK, doesn't that mess up the timestamp though? Like, I should leave, even if I go AFK for a second, I should leave this part in because I can't. I want it to be like if somebody was watching along somehow, but whatever. I don't know. So yeah, there's so many takes that I have that I could go back to and revisit, but let me actually do that, since I'll look at some of the things I have them, some of his comments that, again, a lot of them are from me over the years and stuff too, or whatever, just some reactions, but these would be more recent ones. Or let me look at But yeah, those AI videos have really taken off where after every game it's like some very hyperbolic thing. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Where I'm a dumpster, I'm a trash can, I'm garbage, I choked, I'm a fake MVP. Like, it'll be all these things with like Jokic saying it. Okay. Let's look at what we have here for some of these recent ones here. Oklahoma City. Oh yeah, that's a good joke he's been making. Is how about another when the Nuggets had a bad game shooting wise, right? How about another brick Murray from the Joker? So it's like, obviously the movie Joker, like where he says, how about another joke Murray? It's like, how about another brick Murray? Joker, it's the Joker saying it. Or now in this case, how about another championship Murray? Because they're gonna win it after this. And what else do we have? There's so many fallacies in sports. It's actually kind of fun to do that because compared to debating something to do with politics or philosophy, that's much more ingrained to people's everyday life. Like where they have more of a horse in the race, and that's like more. Oh yeah, that was a funny line too from one of my scripted things that he did. It was like, Jokic is saying this. I haven't carried this much poop since I cleaned up after my horses, like meaning he's carrying his team on the court and they're equal to poop that he picks up from his horse. Like, I haven't carried this much poop since I was cleaning up after my horses. So I like how this is like a 2-hour, 30-minute thing, but like the player says that, right? 29, 58, 59, 30 minutes out of 2 hours, 30 minutes, but it could go on longer than that, obviously. It makes it seem like a fixed amount. Like, what, it won't let me watch after that? It hurts to brush your teeth. So we're at 4 minutes 35, 34, 33 in the first quarter. Yeah, how about another brick Murray? Is a good one when he's he does it in like these quotes, so it makes sense, right? Like it's in quotations. How about another brick Murray? And then it'll say like / Joker, meaning he's the one saying it. It's like, oh, he gets so many. I was gonna do this challenge almost like if my friend's comments don't get 100 likes every single day, at least one of them, because he always is posting random shit on all kind of videos, I'll delete my account or something. I'll delete my channel because he so consistently does that. And again, some of them are stolen from me, but either way, it's fine. Coach Tibbs effect. Now you see why he doesn't rest guys, because they make so many good comebacks. Yeah, the Nuggets came out fluid. Doesn't mean OKC won't come back, but yeah, this will be another easy path to the championship for them because, well, at least after this point, because and a similar thing happened to OKC last year too. They weren't supposed to lose to the Mavs, right? They were they the number 1 seed? They were at least a high seed, and they lost early, an early round to Mavs that they shouldn't have, and then you're in a position to say that the Nuggets have never beaten a 50-win team, I guess, in the playoffs, and the one that they do beat is, or were the Clippers just I don't even know. But yeah, wouldn't that be funny? Like the Nuggets have never beaten a 50-win team, even in the playoffs, even though they've won a championship, right? Because they've beat the 7 seed and then the 8 seed the year that they won the title in the conference finals and the finals, and the Lakers and the Heat. You can put an asterisk next to that, sort of. So now the first 50-win team they're going to beat is a 68-win team. Like, really? This is like their final boss? I love the way Brown is playing, though. He's playing good. Just his confidence, and I just hate the way his name is spelled versus how it sounds. Yeah, they seem to have trouble with their second option, OKC. Even though I don't think Murray is very consistent, it's more so Murray's consistency is the issue, not so much knowing who the second guy is. For OKC, it's Shea, but then you don't really know. Everyone else seems inconsistent. Any given night, it could be one of these very many players, but yeah, OKC's offense is very discombobulated. Jalen Williams is had a very bad game, like 6 points. So you have all these channels like Fight Reacts, and he did a Euro step pass, Westbrook. Yeah, Westbrook tries too many threes is the problem. Yeah, they don't have like a good consistent enough second option star. OKC, despite having really such a good balanced team, deeper team, good, better defensive team, but just in the playoffs it comes down to that. Like, do you just have 2-3 good options that you can rely on? Jokic has become very histrionic in this series too. Not saying he doesn't always flop or something, but like he's doing all these like shrugs and like puts his hands out. Like, how could you not call that? Like, don't you get that? Like, he's like begging for it, putting his palms up. Oh, that was smooth if he had made it, Shay. He stopped on a dime that the guy went flying back. Jokic has Caruso, but like, what are you doing? Why? But then he makes it, so then you can't say anything. Yeah, Westbrook has a bit of a vendetta here, even though not really, because he stayed so long and they loved him in OKC, so it's not really. I don't know if that really ended badly. He stayed. Durant was the one. Durant was the one who left early and like felt like he betrayed them for their rival. Westbrook went on to still stat pad there for a while. What are all these possessions like with Caruso where you just stand in front of him and okay, well, he still makes it. Yeah, those kind of players do trigger me though, like Murray and Chris Middleton. They're exactly like that. And yes, they've been the second option on the championship team, but they just feel inconsistent. But sometimes that's what you need. Caruso is your typical 3-and-D guy who's going to be very, very good for that. 2 for 7 3, 1 for 7 3, 40 seconds left. 40 seconds left now in the first. But no, Brown has come out good. The Thunder's come. Man, Westbrook keeps threatening these threes. Like, man, do something. Why is Caruso on Jokic so much? Like, he's been on him like 100 possessions, and this is what would trigger the old heads, right? Like Shaq or somebody, get it to the big man and let him dominate. Like, you have a mismatch. I don't care what kind of 3-point jack-up league you have, right? Free throw baiting, 3-point jacking league. I mean, when you have a mismatch like that, you have to take it. That's part of the reason why the comebacks are so prevalent too, because when you keep shooting all these threes, it can go quickly. So now it's only a 5-point game. Yeah, see, again, Caruso on Jokic. Like, what is this matchup? Why do you keep doing this? Oh, there's one of his cannon shots. He's made that his signature. And yeah, Jokic had a couple days to rest. Sometimes that's all it takes. Like, the guy has been carrying more. Like, that proves he's the MVP right there. The fact that like he's carrying a 4 seed to a game 7 against a 68 win team that they have no business getting there. Like, how? Whereas Shea has the better team and he's still struggling to win. Doesn't that prove right there that he's better? Like, he's carrying you to be on equal footing with the 68 win team that's supposed to be way better, and you're not able to finish him off with the advantage of having the better team. So, like, I don't know. So like I won't edit that part out, I guess, because well, I guess I don't know. In case like there's sort of somebody is actually watching along somehow, like a rerun of the game. But then again, the ads might not sync up. Whatever. Or you know what's funny about that Super Bowl stream? That got like the most views of any of my streams. Not so much concurrent viewers, but like you got like over 1,000 unique viewers because they thought I was watching it live or like actually showing it, or I don't know. That was just such a hot category for some reason. Why did they do that? They do ads, then they come back for a second, then they do ads again. So the game actually didn't start. I guess it could be like back-to-back timeout cheesing stuff. Oh look, it's an ad involving chess. That means I must like it. Is it everybody associates me with chess, even though I'm not that good. I really want to do like some sort of over-the-board kind of content, but it's hard to do that because show the chessboard again. CGI mansion, because that was not very convincing. Another Mission Impossible. Let's see what other content or comments we had. Bro's been waiting for this all season. Whatever. Christian Brown, 47. Oh, it's kind of lagging. Maybe I should refresh it or what? I'll try to tell you the timestamp. We're at. Oh, it's lagging like crazy. What's going on? 11:35, 34, 33 in the second quarter. Left, obviously. It is jacking around like crazy. I don't know what was going on with that interview. Oh yeah, but that James Harden effect I was talking about. It's no surprise that James Harden wins the MVP, but then he chokes in the playoffs, or Shea is going to be, you know, considered so great, but then you win the. Yeah, as soon as Jokic is gone, you're screwed. Even though not that he's really a defender, but when you rely on free throws that much, it's going to be called differently in the regular season. So it makes sense that those kind of teams and those kind of players wouldn't have success. So that's why, even though you won 68 games, now that style of play isn't going to work quite as well in the playoffs, and you can't rely on the free throws and all that as much being called the same way. Which again, I don't even blame you for doing that, because that was game 6 that he only had 6 points. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if they call it a certain way, then they change it. Like, so are you saying that you call it wrong in the regular season or what? Right, you're doing it wrong. Like, make up your mind. You might say, oh, it's good to be more physical, but it should always be like, you know, you got to be consistent. You're giving players mixed signals, and then they base their play style around it, and then you pull the rug out. Westbrook involved with another turnover. Westbrook is going to try too hard, like he always does too. But especially when he has something on the line. It always sounds like his name has a K in it, right? Harkenstein is how they say it. Okay, you can see a spit in his mouth. That's good camera quality, but what the fuck? But yeah, what other takes do we have? Just like the late, yeah. Let's go through like the whole playoff bracket and see like what I was thinking about it at the beginning, because there've been a lot of surprises. You could say the script writers were out with this one because it's a case where, you know, so many upsets. The Cavs, I wouldn't have predicted would have been a real championship contender, but I didn't think they would have lost like that so badly. To, you know, I thought they would have lost probably in the next round to the Celtics. Like, let me see what my predictions would have been, and I'll be honest about it, obviously. So like Thunder, Grizzlies, obviously fine. I wouldn't have disagreed with that. Nuggets, Clippers, I might have almost said at that point that the, you know, with Kawhi being healthy, I might have probably said the Clippers actually would have won that. You know, the James Harden effect is what it is. But whatever. So I would have probably said actually Clippers in 7. So even though it makes me seem stupid now, but that's a legitimate thing. If you have Kawhi healthy, I'm never going to bet against a healthy Kawhi. Then the Timberwolves beating the Lakers. I actually said probably Lakers in 7, and I thought it would have been tough. I'm shocked at how easily, again, with Luka and LeBron, the real big three, that one song that everybody loves, Luka, Don, A. Reeves, and then LeBron. I would not have predicted that. I'm actually kind of surprised that that happened. And I love when, you know, somebody who carries the load on offense so much, like Jokic or Luka, when they lose, then you start blaming their defense. Like, if you have to blame Luka for his defense, like Steph Curry for his defense, that just means your team is garbage. Like, he shouldn't have to worry about that. It's like when, you know, Scottie Pippen could guard people. Even though Jordan was a great defender, you still don't want him to expend energy, and Phil Jackson's smart enough to do that. You don't want him to expend all his energy defending too. Sometimes he would, but let him score 30 a game, which Scottie Pippen can't do. And then Scottie's also a great defender, so let him guard the best, you know, somebody else, the best player. It's not so much about Jordan trying to prove that, oh, I can do it all. It's about managing your energy and balance. Like, they're both great defenders, but only one of them is a great scorer, like truly great scorer. So let him do that. So I was surprised by the Lakers losing, not so much even losing, but losing like that badly. And then I would have certainly predicted the Warriors to win the whole thing. So obviously beat the Rockets, but I probably would have said in 6. I was disappointed that they lost 2 in a row, to forcing game 7. Then the Wolves beating the Warriors, I can't really say anything because obviously they would have won if Curry was healthy. I don't know why that's even a point. Like, some of the games were pretty close. They even lost one. So, and people are bashing Jimmy Butler, but it's kind of like he would be the perfect second guy for Curry. But without Curry, now it becomes difficult. We've seen what he's done in the East, but air balls, a 3 Murray, 13-0 run. Are you seriously going to... Gordon hitting a clutch shot to quiet the whole thing. You had Jokic on the bench for like a minute, 30 seconds, and you already got fucked over in that much time. That's the one thing in like, well, it's one-on-one street ball type things against with amateurs. It's like, wow, that was a tough one. Very well contested. I guess they're doing that on purpose. They're putting Caruso on Jokic, but then when he gets into the paint, then they bring help because it's happening like so much. Jokic does some of these weird movement passes too. Like he'll push his whole body forward and then do like a basic pass to the side. He's doing like these. He would do that sometimes in the past, but he's done it a lot in this series. He'll do like a huge motion with his body forward, and then he'll just do a simple pass like that. He didn't need to do that. Oh yeah, and then Nico Harrison looking like a genius. Oh, the draft lottery is rigged, because it certainly seems to be with that. Like the whatever the you give up Luka and you get the number one pick in return, and the way that the Lakers lost makes it seem kind of validated. Nuggets are getting a little lucky, actually. OKC's missed a lot of open shots. Yeah, I like the interest and the passion that Jokic has shown. That he gets his coach fired, even though he wouldn't admit it. He also gets he starts to coach himself. He's being a player coach. He maybe put the fear in the hearts of everyone else on the team, like, I'm going to get rid of you too if you mess up, right? As he got rid of the coach. So there's a certain passion, there's a certain thing that he's certainly disproving people who say he doesn't care or he only cares about his horses. He's shown tremendous value that way, in a way that allows you to realize that, like, he's trying to be a player coach. He's galvanizing everybody. He's trying to remind them that we were champions. He's trying to show you that. I love this Caruso. Oh, look at the commentator Glaze backfiring, jinxed him. Caruso's really making it difficult on Jokic, and then he gets to 3-point play on two guys. Like, that's the dumbest. Like, imagine how Shaq or somebody would feel about this. And that was a video I was going to actually do as part of my psychology series. Like, the means argument. XQC and Shaq are both kind of practitioners of the means argument. Which, what does the means argument mean? It means that the advantage of resources. So it's like, oh, was Napoleon better than Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great or whatever? But it's like, who had more troops? Who had more technology, especially relative to the era that they were in? Did they have technological advantages? So, like, all of that kind of thing. So if you have more troops, more soldiers, more resources, that doesn't mean you're actually better, right? Like in a sport, you would say, you might play better. You might be the better player, but they have the better team. So Gordon being a little dramatic, but yeah, Brown has been heroic. That's a great first half. I like his confidence. I like everything. See, this is what you need sometimes. Shea just has all the best animations. Even the flops are top tier. The guy has the best player build animations. Like, he's just smooth and sort of, he's fast. He's got rhythm. He's got the right move set. Just everything is smooth with him. Again, even the flops. That's what ruins it, though. Sometimes it's just how subjective. Not even saying it's rigged that way, but just like, it's just so inconsistent, right? You can compare one play to the next. Like, this is a foul, and then the same exact thing isn't a foul a minute later. They're letting, oh yeah, that was one thing stupid with Curry. Like, what would Curry do in an older era with hand checking? Oh wait, he's already dealing with it, because the way the Raptors did it with the box and one defense, right, in 2019, the way that the Rockets were playing him, they were hand checking him. They were doing more than hand checking him at times. Like, they're all over him off the ball. Like, you can't do that to anybody else, right? You can't imagine you do that to Shea. You can't do anything to Shea. Like, it's so stupid that it shows you the gravity that he has, but it's totally unfair from a reffing standpoint. Same thing with a guy like Shaq. That, like, everything he does could be an offensive foul. Everything done to him could be a defensive foul. Yeah, Porter is just garbage, though. Even though I like him he's just trash this series. Like, oh my god. Even that he gave up that. Man, the Nuggets are kind of lucking out, but they have to get some rhythm here. Just slow it down and let Jokic actually do something, because they're trying. That was a bizarre, bad shot. He taps him on the butt there. What else do we have? Oh yeah, the means argument. Like, Shaq might be bigger and stronger than everybody, but then he uses it to his advantage in a physical athletic sport. I can't blame you for doing that. And so it's like, so you're bigger and stronger in an athletic sport where that's a legitimate thing. And if that's the case, then don't be afraid to use your advantage, right? Don't try to be too sort of cheeky or creative. Just do what you got to do. And so I like this hand holding sort of contest. You hold the pose and do that. They're letting Brown even bring it up the court. Sometimes they're like avoiding Jokic when they shouldn't. Yeah, like Gordon is better on one leg or whatever he's going through than Michael Porter is. It's just, I don't know what it is. He's a great shooter. He's an amazing 3-point shooter, Michael Porter, but he's just not doing it this series. Yeah, if you're big and strong and you use that to your advantage, then don't be afraid to do that. So that's what you have to do. Just take it to them. Okay, I'm bigger and stronger, so I'm going to get the ball every single time and dunk it on you every single time, instead of like a gentle giant thing or trying to be too cute or creative or fancy or do different things. Because there's no shame in that, right? That's part of the game. Like with XQC, the analogy, like where he played as Winston, right? Winston main in Overwatch. He might do that, but anybody else could play Winston too. So like if that's easier to do, it's easier to aim. Obviously, an auto aim thing that he has. Everybody else can do that too. So you're using something that might be overpowered or to your advantage, and you're exploiting it. But anybody else could do that too. And if you do that, then there's no shame, right? So that's what it's all about. Use whatever you have to your advantage. It's like in chess. If he uses that broken opening, he uses that one opening that's overpowered or annoying, but use whatever you got to use. Anybody else could use it too. And then, okay, Jokic is getting kind of mad though. You can't spell OKC without Jokic. That means he owns you. Yogi is starting to flop. I mean, it is the ultimate battle of the flops because everybody's doing it. You know, in some ways, sometimes you have to sell it too, because again, like in Shaq's case, or somebody could foul you. Like Caruso could be fouling him, but he's so much bigger that it's like a foul is a foul. It doesn't matter whether you're big or stronger. You can take it or not, right? You know, if Nate Robinson fouls Shaq, it's still a foul, even if he barely feels it or whatever. It's a weird matchup decision, though, that you would put him on Jokic so much. Yeah, so much of this series has been decided at the foul line, and obviously people are gonna talk trash about the flopping or the Shea free throw merchant thing. But yeah, that style of play typically doesn't do well in the playoffs. So that's the drop off that you see, like with a player like James Harden, who would rely on that a lot. Just somebody who's very ball dominant, who's, you know, constantly just whatever making a play every single time. You're gonna naturally get a lot of fouls. See, that's why Curry doesn't get that respect. Curry gets fouled a lot more than gets called, but he doesn't get the respect because, oh, he's a jump shooter, he's this, he's that. To yeah, tell Michael Porter to remember how to shoot. So we're at second quarter, 3 minutes 45, 44, 43. I'm not going to bother if I upload it to put a timestamp or anything. It'll just be like, it's just playing it straight. Like it's a straight shot. That looked like a foul for sure. That was good. That 10-day contract player trying to earn his keep. Watson, the way that Flight would say it. And the rest are nobodies. We got the Joker and the rest are nobodies. Some days Jamal Murray is active and some days he's not. All these great quotes that come out of those AI videos, like he went ghost when I needed him most, or Jamal Murray turned into Jamal Worry. All these different, the guys become pretty big. It's dangerous AI. At least that's one of the big ones. You're just seeing those videos everywhere. He went ghost when I needed him most. Yeah, Murray is just so inconsistent, man. He's not, that's why he's a perfect example of a star but not a superstar. Any given night he can be great, but then he's so inconsistent, I swear to God. Home of the finals, and it's showing you the Heat versus the Nuggets one. Yeah, I predict. Oh yeah, let's go through the playoff bracket again. So the one prediction again, I thought maybe the Clippers would beat the Nuggets in the first round, 7 games though. I thought the Lakers would beat the Wolves in 7. I was at least surprised how easily they lost. I thought the Warriors would win in maybe 6 against the Rockets. Again, the Minnesota beating the Warriors doesn't count because Curry got hurt, so that's BS. I predicted the Warriors would win the whole thing, which I really think they... Look how open it would have been. You would have gotten literally the Pacers or the Knicks, not the Celtics, not the Cavs, who were supposed to be the best 2 teams. So the East would have been easy. You're getting the Wolves, right? Well, I mean the Nuggets are going to get the Wolves now, but the Warriors would have gotten one really hard team in the Thunder or the Nuggets, but like it was a very clean path for them. And so now the Cavs and the Heat is predictable. The Bucks, obviously without Lillard, that's understandable. The Pacers win that. The Knicks and the Pistons is understandable. The Celtics is understandable. So I predicted that the Celtics would win the East because out of respect that they are the defending champions. So I'm a little surprised by that. But they do have that history of choking, like I said, even when they're completely healthy and stuff, or mostly healthy. And then the Cavs, losing to the Pacers like that is almost inexplicable. They had some minor injuries too, but not really too big of a deal. That one really shocked me. I would have never expected that. Again, I wouldn't have said that the Cavs are going to win the whole thing, but I thought, Cavs get to the conference finals and then lose to the Celtics. But then instead, the Pacers and the Knicks get through. The Knicks beating the Celtics is pretty inexplicable too. But what's funny is even those come down to injuries, sort of. Not so much the Tatum one, because that happened too late. But like Porzingis was fighting with something, and so was the Cavs had some minor injuries too. That can make a difference. I mean, I'm not saying it should make that big of a difference that you lose in that manner, but speaking of inconsistent players, though, Tatum is always that, like, just very, very inconsistent. Buddy Hield kind of had a nice little Klay Thompson bootleg Klay Thompson experience where he had some really good games and was emerging as a sort of star that could have been an X factor along with Curry and Butler doing what they're doing. It could have been a very special run, but whatever. Yeah, that's what Tom Thibodeau showed this postseason. You keep criticizing me for playing guys when we're up or down big, but he's down by 20 points in like 3 separate games and comes back in all of them to win. Like, no lead is safe from this guy, so you can't question him for not resting guys. Like, you got to fight it out to the very end. So that's very validating for him. But no, think of this as actually the championship. Whoever wins this wins the whole thing, and it makes sense because the East is going to be weak sauce. You have a 3 and a 4 seed from the East, which is much weaker than the West, and you have a 6 seed from the West who got kind of lucked out the last round. You dodged the Warriors because they got hurt. The Jokic has to kind of take over a little bit. I'd like to see a stretch here. Just give it to him like 5 possessions straight. And there's no harm in doing that too, because like, why aren't you giving it to him there? He has a mismatch again. He has a mismatch all the time. Westbrook doing acrobatics. Brown is getting some very good open looks though. They're not respecting Brown, and they should, because he's been very good here. He came out with the right role player kind of thing. I like that. He was making his moves quick at the beginning, confident, you know, very good. They're both done bad from 3 though. If your name is Jalen, you're very inconsistent, like Jalen Green, or right for the Rockets, Jalen Williams. Man. Murray, how about another turnover, Murray? And he gets a steal. All right, so it's a bad ending to the first half. But now Jokic will make one of those fading cannonball shots that he always does. Thunder 7-0 run. Not that big of a deal, but that should be like a condition from the league. If the Thunder win a championship, we'll rebuild the Sonics arena to celebrate, even though you could see that as sort of undermining it because that's a new competitor. But it's weird how you consider that too. Like if you look up, the Thunder have technically won championships in their history if you look on the Wikipedia page, right? Because if you consider them the same, like the Rochester Royals became somebody else, like teams that move around but are still considered the same franchise, it'll count that all together. Like so the Sonics did win the championship with like Dennis Johnson or whatever, right? The where he choked really bad the year prior and then he won finals MVP, and people forget that. Just a role player on the actual Celtics, the actual dynasty with Bird and stuff. But you know what's funny about that? I always say the Magic, Showtime Lakers, and the Bird Celtics are considered 2 of the best teams ever in rivalry. And obviously the Showtime Lakers won 5 championships in that time, but the Celtics only won 3. And I know only seems insulting, but the Pistons won 2 in that era, and the Celtics won 3. And obviously the Lakers won as many combined, so they deserve the respect. But so why don't the Pistons don't get the same respect? They only won 1 championship less than the Celtics, but they don't get talked about nearly enough. See, that was a tough move against like really 3 people. It almost seems like he has a better percentage, of making shots that are difficult shots than actual. Wow. Well, this is not looking the greatest right now, but we've had some back and forth. It's just like you don't trust anybody on. What? They're letting them really bully Jokic a bit. They're not giving him the foul sort of star treatment. Yes, he bumps Caruso madly there, like, oh, come on. They're letting them get away with a bit here. Wow. It's just so inconsistent how they call some of these things. I don't know. They got 2 turnovers in a row, which that could have easily been considered a foul. It's, I don't know. That's like the gray area. Like, that's why you have a full contact sport like football, where you're just trying to beat the shit out of each other and give each other CTE or whatever you want to say, or a non-contact sport like baseball, where relatively, you could tap the guy with the ball or whatever, but then it's at least clean from an officiating standpoint. In football, it's just a crapshoot. Everything's a foul because you're beating each other up. Or tennis or baseball or something like where there's no contact, so it's not as subjective. This is too subjective, where it's just kind of impossible to manage. So OKC finished the quarter very strong. What a fitting way for the half to end, with him getting free throws. Wait, OKC only has 3 free throw attempts? So that's going to require a bit of a comeback. I'm actually quite disappointed by that, but not as bad as maybe it seems, but just it wasn't the right way to do it. But yeah, OKC barely got any free throws, actually. They can't even say that. See, like, those kind of moves, like, you could do that move anytime you want. Like, that's the kind of thing that just kills your. That's what Jokic is a master at. He makes these shots that break your confidence, right? That's what the truly great ones, the superstars, do. Is like, wow, those kind of cannonball turnaround weird shots. Like, he'll make a half court shot now. Why aren't they giving it to Jokic enough? Like, they're kind of trying to do too much without him. It's going to be tough. So now what do we do at halftime? It's going to be boring as hell. I don't want to watch the shitty halftime report. But no, I'll just kind of let it run. And that was quite a turnaround for them, too, because it was like, the Nuggets were up by like 11, 12 in the first quarter. Now you're down by like 14. I still don't think they'll come back. Well, yeah, let's see if we have some more of these comments to look at. This is pretty funny. Dante DiVincenzo on what he learned from Steph. Look at Curry, man, so educational. And then what else do we have here? This fallacy of like Kobe getting carried by Shaq. It's not so much that he got carried, but that clearly Shaq was better. He won the 3, all the finals MVPs. He was better. He was getting double teamed. Like, you don't have to use one to diminish the other, but sometimes people over, like, this is one of the great examples of media hype, right? And the ball handler obsession. People will bring up the GOAT conversation, and they keep bringing up Kobe, which is, again, no offense to him, but it's not offense. He shouldn't be in that conversation. Jordan's better at the same position in every way, right? More efficient scoring, everything, just better. So Kobe shouldn't be brought up in there. Kareem should be brought up more. Hakeem Olajuwon should be brought up more. Wilt should be brought up way more, right? Like, so you're saying these 3 very commonly. You hear this, right? It's Jordan, it's Kobe, it's LeBron. that has nothing to do with actually who's the best. That has to do with positions and ball handlers, right? They're heavy volume scorers who handle the ball a lot, who are easier to market, who have entertaining style of play, right? All those kind of reasons. They've been hyped up by the media, not Wilt, not Kareem. Oh, they're centers, they're boring, they're big, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. Like, so you're not actually saying who's best. You're saying who is a marketable ball handler, volume scorer from that kind of position, from the 2 or the 3, basically. Why are they standing up like this? They're not sitting at the desk. This is the halftime show. And to me, it always doesn't seem like it really. You can still be great, right? Jokic can still be better, but then you're just losing to a better team. But I won't even say that. Like, somehow, some way, you can still come out with it, but it's gonna be hard. Those like two turnovers in a row by Jokic were telling too, because you have you know, some inconsistency with how they're calling things. But you want to elevate guys, like people are trying to elevate Curry into a GOAT conversation, like, but you're ignoring so many. There's a bias against centers because you either think, oh, they have an unfair advantage because they're so big and strong or whatever, but that's part of the game. It's an athletic sport. Or you just ignore them. Their style of play is boring. So people bring up Kobe more than they bring up Kareem, which is disgraceful because it's no offense to Kobe, but like clearly Kareem is better in every way. Right, even longevity was one of Kobe's strengths, but Kareem was all-time leading scorer before now, and you know, until recently, and you know, won 6 titles instead of 5, same number of Finals MVPs. Like, both played with great teams and teammates, obviously Shaq and Magic and so forth. But so it's no offense to Kobe. It's just like, why would you elevate him into that? But you're ignoring Wilt, you're ignoring Kareem. So many turnovers, some of them Westbrook's fault, some of them Jokic's fault, I guess, but oh, now they're sitting down. What was that first part? Is this really what Bob Myers decided to do when he jumped ship on the Warriors? They both shot pretty bad from 3, 25%, 21%. Alex Caruso guarding Jokic, even though I don't know if that's true, but it's such a mismatch that I don't get why that would work. It's to help defenders. It might be the right way to try to play him, but you would think he can just shoot over Caruso anytime he wants with the fadeaway little cannonball shot that he does. Yeah, nobody's helping Jokic. I still think they're gonna win, but it's gonna be really crazy. There's so many possessions where he has a clear mismatch where you have a good position and you're not even giving it to him. You had such a good run. That's what the Nuggets have had in this whole series. They've had like these really good runs. Like even in game 4, like where they could have gone up 3-1, I think they were up by like, they were down the whole game, then they were up by like 10, and then they lost. So So Jalen Williams is so bad that you have to rely on that too. Like the only way he can look good is if it's off turnovers. Or those are like two stupid comments that Kobe made that people bring up sometimes. The one that sort of lost to time. There was a clip of it that's like where Kobe said, he said that about like 3 different people. That like Dwight's one of the best players I played with, and Kwame Brown's one of the best defenders ever that I played, that I've ever seen. Even though Kwame Brown gets clowned all the time, and that's not really even true, but he called him like a great defender, one of the best defenders ever. And then he said that supposedly about Kendrick Perkins too, or there is like a clip of it. He's like glazing all these overrated centers, but doesn't mean that you're right necessarily with that. So, I mean, I guess I may as well do the whole thing. It could be fun to do this if you had actually more of a community or something, but I don't know. Like how, Flight Reacts is a big one, or Clark is one guy who does it. Oprah Side was his name. These are all like React channels. But they not only do they do face cam, but they also show what they're reacting to, but not really in this capacity, like the whole game or live. They yeah, they're just so inconsistent, all the other Nuggets players. You can't even blame Gordon because he's been actually pretty consistent, just he's hurt. Murray is just horribly inconsistent. Like Russell Westbrook, NBA was my plan B. Plan A was construction because I build more houses with my bricks than you could possibly imagine. Let's see if there's something else to see here. Some of these stupid comments. Rudy Gobert being glazed too much. He averaged like 3 points for the whole series against the Lakers, and then he had like a big game in the last one. Ant was right. We'll be back next year, and then Steph will get hurt and will luck out. Clown emoji, like, oh, we'll make it back, but only because it's like you predict something, like the year that the Bucks won. Oh, the Bucks are going to beat the Nets, but the Nets were so injured, and you still almost lost in 7. Like, you couldn't have known that was going to happen. So. I love these little short ones they do. Like they come back for like a second and then they yeah, this is kind of a laid back kind of content to do, which I don't mind, but I never have this much time anyway. So I like all these ads glazing the WNBA players too now. They're ingratiating that. Yeah, let me debunk the whole Caitlin Clark effect, because even though people say, oh, she's so good, there are better players historically, right, in the WNBA, right, at least when she's coming in. There's still better players who are established, and also there's other players coming in, Cameron Brink or Angel Reese or whatever, who are still good. Like, so the different, this is the same fallacy, right? The difference between how great Michael Jordan is compared to Kareem or Wilt or other great players versus the amount of media coverage they get and hype and how much they're talked about is not proportional. Like, let's just use Kareem, right? Kareem is talked about 2 times for every 10 times Jordan is talked, 1 for every 5 that Jordan's talked about, if even that. Even if you think Jordan's better, it's not by that much. He's not 5 times better. So I'll actually defend Angel Reese or other players or whatever, right? Other even existing WNBA stars and stuff. you know, you might say, oh, it's because everyone's in love with Caitlin Clark and she's so good and she's making the league popular, but you're acting like she's doing stuff that other players haven't done, or there aren't other really good players already in the league. But that's not even true because, right, there are better players who are already established stars and this and that. So you're getting credit for like something else. I don't know, just some hype around her. The media sometimes just likes to ride certain people. You know, you get the Tim Tebow story, you get the Jeremy Lin story. It doesn't mean that they're actually the best or that great. So in that sense, it's sort of unfair, right? Like even, oh, she gets that credit because she's that good. But comparatively, you know, does Angel Reese or Cameron Brink or somebody else or even other stars established in the league, do they proportionally get a similar amount of attention, or historically similar, Sabrina Ionescu or whoever the best players are, do they get a proportional amount of attention for being that good, right? You'll say, oh, it's because she's that good, but there are better players who never got that much attention. There's other, you know, again, if she's a 10 out of 10 and Angel Reese is like a 6 or a 7 out of 10, does she get that much proportional? So again, not that she's as good, but does she get that much of a proportional amount of attention relative to that? That's the fallacy there. So in a way, that is very, sort of unfair, and you are getting special treatment somehow for some reason. I don't even know what it is, just because you got so much hype in college or something. But it's not entirely proportional, because again, did Tim Duncan always get as much attention as Kobe, even though they're similar in greatness? Or does Kareem get talked about as much as Michael? Or does Wilt get talked about as much as Shaq or whoever? Like, even if you think they're better, they're not that much better that would justify that disparity in media coverage. Kareem is the biggest one. Like, Kobe gets talked about more than Kareem, even though Kareem is better. So like, what is that? It seems like an ad for a TV show. It's the Superman thing, but I don't know if it's a movie or a show. I couldn't even tell. It looked kind of low budget somehow. It was a 25-point turnaround from Nuggets being up 11 to down 14. A lot of those weren't even forced. They're kind of glazing up the defense too much, where, you know, some of them were just stupid, unforced, trash. Westbrook. Now we're gonna learn why their name is Oklahoma City, but this is gonna be very hard to overcome. But again, they could have a run like what they had at the beginning. But the thing that's a little scary is how badly both teams shot from three. So it's like, oh, now the Nuggets can shoot better from three, but so will OKC than the first half. So even, you know, sometimes you're just lucking out with these threes. I thought there was a whistle. I thought I heard a whistle. I like how OKC didn't get that many free throws in the first half, so at least it hurts the notion of whatever favoritism. But that was sort of a flop, though. It didn't even look like he hit him. Yeah, what if you just face guard somebody that way, like a different kind of face guard? Like, I don't put my body in your face, but I just put my face right up in you. Like, so now if you do anything to my face, oh, it's a flagrant. Yeah, that'll be the line. Like, Jokic saying, I haven't carried this much poop since I clean up after my horses. Like, what kind of a team is this that you're giving us hope that a 4 seed can beat a 68 win team that's fully healthy? That, like, how? How can you do that? To even give us that belief, but you can still do it, but it's just like, you got to let him. They're not giving him the ball even enough. Like, you're all trash. You can't do anything, so don't even try. Just give it to him every time. And normally you'd say, oh, you're doing that to score. Like, I'm going to give it to Shaq to let him score. But here, he's going to control the game and pass it, too. So you're not letting him do that enough. So this is going to be a tough spot, but again, could Murray heat up? The thing is, you're going to assume that OKC is just going to go on a big scoring drought, which probably won't happen. So it is going to be very difficult. By, like, the whole back and forth with the fouls and the flops, like Jokic trying to out flop and almost punish them back. If you're going to call it like that, fine, then do it this way too. But that's sort of just the farce aspect of it, though, too, where this inconsistency of, like, sometimes something's a foul, sometimes it's not. Sometimes they let them play, sometimes they don't. What other takes do we have? I don't like rehashing the same ones over and over, but I guess I've only mentioned them offhandedly, so this is the chance. You got to go on a run quick. That's what people say. Oh, free. Look at how the refs are determining the outcome, but they didn't. They didn't get that many free throws in the first half, at least. So, I mean, this is going to be virtually impossible. I have to even admit. You have a half to do it, but that's what I would do. Like, forget about the rest of this shitty team. Give the ball to Jokic every single time, because he's either going to score or he's going to pass it. Don't keep doing the stupid shit where he has a mismatch in the post and you keep like, at least Williams redeems himself for that shitty game 6, but they go into it too slow. Like, give it to Jokic, just let him do something. That's not a great shot, but Jokic just pulled out all the pulling out all the stops, more like pulling out all the flops. He does that when he gets mad. Like, it's so. Just keep jacking up threes. I mean, that's the nature of the game, how it's played today. The whole irony of people who make fun of the WNBA is wow, is the fact that remember what happened to the Celtics though. It can still happen, but you'd say, oh, WNBA is softer, this or that, but the NBA is more like the WNBA now than ever before. More jump shot reliant, more finesse, more, less physical, called kind of tighter, more, wishy-washy foul. So even if you made fun of the WNBA, the NBA is more like that than ever before. So I'd love to see this happen. I mean, I'm not gonna. It's just nobody can do anything. And even this, in a weird way, although it's not what you want to see happen, sort of shows you the whole point. Like, how did you even get to game 7? How, nobody else can do anything. So that still shows you he is the MVP because you've carried this team that has no business being here. Whereas obviously Shea has the benefit of the other better team. It's sort of a fallacy with what an MVP is. It's like, are you the reason why that team is so good, or are you benefiting from that team being so good? Like, obviously you're the best player on the best team, but you have also the best team, arguably, if you take away their best player, it's still the best team. So, like, if you took the best player away from every team, if you take Jokic from the Nuggets, they're not even a playoff team. Like, they're just garbage. They can't do anything. Like, Murray will go 1 for 50 and just not do nothing. This is an ad actually that I saw in the Super Bowl. This was tennis one with William Defoe. So this would have to be a Tom Thibodeau level comeback. Don't rest any. I mean, there's nothing to hold them back for now. You play every minute and you. Well, I guess I would tell you OKC is going to win it all if they do it, but I won't even say it yet. But it's just the Nuggets just can't do anything. Nobody can make a shot. Like, nobody can do anything. Michael Porter's obviously played like trash too. Yeah, that was simple, easy. Let him do that. Let him cook with the simple pass. You got to just do it gradually. OKC will go on another cold stretch, but You can recover about 10 points. I don't know about 20 though. It's gonna be, you know, you just can't let this situation happen, right? Like, wow, they're really glazing Caruso a bit too much though. What was the nickname that we could make fun of here? Like how people were saying Mahomo there. Oh, Shea Dildos, Alexander, and all those AI videos. That he's a flopper, free throw merchant, fake MVP. And every time you give it to him, something good happens, but you just can't get a stop, and you just can't. It's like a full body foul there. Or oh, maybe that's what I was doing in the Super Bowl one, as I was playing chess or something. I guess here I have, because I was wondering, yeah, how could I, during the ad breaks and stuff, this is kind of, or I was, at least it gives you something to show on the screen too. I forgot. Maybe I will do that since they're getting blown out. I mean, I'll still be watching it, but so you got to get Coach Tibbs on the phone and phone a friend here for like, how do you overcome a 20-point lead? There's nothing to rest for, nothing to you know, lose here. Oh, he had his own flu game, the Murray flu game, but yeah, this is all you need. A good little stretch like this, but they're really over glorifying Caruso a bit too much, but he's a good 3-and-D guy, but defense doesn't matter if you just jack up threes, which is all anybody ever does. I want to see him do that. Like every possession, everything, just do it. How about another three, Murray? Or it's actually said Murray. He says it Murray instead of Murray, but I always think of it as Murray. How about another joke, Murray? You could overanalyze any call and say it's right or wrong if you really want. Like it's such a, look at him starting to airball. Oh shit. Porter's still gonna fuck it up. They had so many turnovers in the beginning that, oh, look at them starting to let Jalen Williams think he's cooking. That's what they're saying. Let him cook, by which you mean airball and brick everything you fucking do. He's become Michael Porter Jr. Murray's been wanting to just jack up threes here like a clown. Oh, look at him. Look at him. He's ready to do it again. Time is still on your side because you have 7 minutes left. Oh, I should say that. 7 minutes, 17, 16, 15, 14 in the third. Yeah, see, now you start to get some rhythm and go fast, play fast. Oh my god. In and out, he's just cursed, man. He can't do anything. Oh, is he calling Jokic MVP then when you get a chance to go with the MVP? I thought your Shea is supposed to be the MVP. Like, that's been the bandwagon riding voter fatigue. I don't think this even hurts the argument. It actually kind of helps the argument because, again, the fact that he even got this far, the fact that you even had a chance, the fact that nobody can do anything besides you, like. We got a Ron Paul monster ad over here about the Federal Reserve sprint printing money. I was trying to argue for Bitcoin, but that's a bad argument too because it's imaginary too because it, you know, it doesn't actually have that much value physically. Like, you know, gold is a is a better measure. But the real argument for Bitcoin is not so much that it's real and paper money isn't. It's that it's equally fake to paper money now, right? Because paper money doesn't have a backing like a gold standard in the US at least. So it's equally imaginary, not so much that it's real. Wait, how did I even do that if I was... Oh, I must have game captured stuff. Yeah, I can't display capture if I'm watching this because I can't show it. I guess I'll watch the rest, but... I just want to see somebody actually do something. Murray just started jacking up threes. That's the strategy. When in doubt, just keep jacking up threes. Help you come back. See, look at the confidence of Brown, though. I like it. He goes right at SGA. Westbrook waits and then he shoots. And, you know, when he's making those, it's like when Draymond Green starts making threes, like, you just can't worry about that. You can't do anything. This is a little more boring than I would have thought, at least. I mean, it was the end of the first half that just completely blew it open, right? They were up by 14 there. And in a quick span of time. Yeah, the Wolves seem like a fraud, so that'll be an easy one. Yeah, again, whoever wins this is the best chance. It's a 6 seed, it's a 4 seed, and a 3 seed from the East that they face. Right, it's nothing. Boston is gone, so. Westbrook breaking threes. Jokic is constantly complaining about everything. He's the lone guy who's even doing anything besides Jokic's round. Still mathematically possible, but it's hard to believe that they won't, score anything themselves. OKC guy with a brick. Oh, just for the free throws, I guess. See, Murray looked like he just got fouled there. Murray just seems like trash. You could say he's sick or something, but yeah, Jokic is getting pissed at these kind of steals that they're getting. He just makes such difficult shots. Like, you could do that anytime if you really wanted, but he's just inconsistent with that. Yeah, see, if they'd cut it to like 10 by the fourth, then you would have had a chance, but that's sort of the difference in the game, is the points off turnovers, I guess. Just they were doing that mostly in the first half, second quarter even. What was that jump by Watson there? He's jumping at air. He's seeing ghosts. Murray went ghost when he needed him most. That play sums up the Nuggets. Like they can't do anything. They cannot play the game of basketball. They can't play. Richard Jefferson is never splitting hairs, as Perkins would say. I want to see Jokic start to jack up threes. Just shoot a three every time and hit some of those fading cannon ones. You got to keep the game close, and then Jokic can make the difference. But or like the best player can make the difference. But when it's this one-sided, you can't do anything. Westbrook turnover again. Double agent for OKC. That's where his true heart is. So that pretty much clinches that OKC is going to win the whole title, which, you know, again, it should be very easy for them because Minnesota's trash. The Knicks and the Pacers, I said the Pacers will probably win that series, but they're not going to be very good either. I feel like I had more of my takes I wanted to address, but yeah, it's just way too much. Again, if they had gotten it down to 10 here, it would have been realistic. But you're just seeing they can't do anything. That's the sort of pain that Jokic is feeling. Like, this team cannot do anything. See, to keep doing that, just keep jacking it up. He's not been active enough. Wallace was acting like he's going to try to just dribble it out like it's the fourth quarter. Getting too cocky. But just remember what, you know, you got this team to 7. How did you even manage to do that? And this is what I mean, like, it's so stupid. Yeah, that was a funny one. Like, oh, Jokic isn't making an MVP case; he's making a GOAT case because he's just playing, you know, in some of these games so well. But it's just not what I expect. I thought it would at least keep it close, and then you could finish the deal. But if it's this one-sided, there's nothing you can do. Just kind of boring too. Or I love that when some crazy comeback does happen, which it's not really gonna happen here, but you know, people leave the arena, or I'll still say that it's gonna happen just so I seem smart, but it's just stupid because I don't know. Oh, I thought it was the fourth quarter. Now we're back to 12 minutes in the third quarter. Even the timekeeper doesn't know what to do. Even here, look at OKC baiting and winning because the refs favor them, even though, again, they didn't shoot that many. Look at Jamal and somebody talking. They're trying to make excuses for Murray, but it's like he's always inconsistent. Even at his best, even when they won the title, he would have bad shooting nights. Just, again, one game you're making tough shots, one game you're not. That's how it is. Jokic looked like he wanted it, but it doesn't matter. Let's see if we can find some other good comments here. A lot of them to do with the Nico Harrison thing, like, oh, this is all part of his plan. You didn't realize his genius. Injuries are God's way of making it fair for everyone else, from Kawhi. That's one of my favorite joke quotes. I mean, this was, I just love the number of what some of these get. This one, I may be overrated, but at least I'm not the Cavs. What the Helly Burton, which is obviously that stupid song. Cavs really thought they could win a title without the king. Free throw contest game. One of the earlier games. Donkey Green killing the parlays because whatever, he had like 2 points. Michael Porter, all bro does is shoot. Just do your job, little bro. Like, all you do is shoot. At least make them. Having a better team does not the MVP make, because that's what you can always say. It can almost be the opposite. Yeah, no, nobody else even touched it. I don't know why that was a hard one to say. It's such a weird thing to do, and like you can't see what I'm saying, but if you were watching, you would be, you know, it's a watch for a long type of shit. What other ones do I have? I can't really remember. I always just make like sort of a joke in passing, but Derrick Rose died for our sins, like so that they could come back 20 points in the, you know, using that style of play that he doesn't sub people out no matter how much you're up or down by. There's this one channel that posts like out of date news, like what is this one? It's, I don't know, it's just like something that happened in 2019 and they'll post it like it just happened now. And then the Knicks were celebrating a little bit too much. Or this guy's pretty funny too, which again I won't show you, but the too tall animation where he's like these dancing things, characters dancing, or players dancing for the NBA as they're getting eliminated and stuff. Game 7 alert, Celtics eliminated. We have Dwayne Wade at home, Donovan obviously in that. Aaron Gordon turned into Aaron Jordan, obviously. He was hitting so many clutch shots. All these AI videos, like they're requesting a trade and this and that. Let's see if it'll end in the allotted 2 hours 30 minutes, which it should be close to that, but no overtime or anything. It just was weird because again, the Nuggets have those good stretches where they're up by 11 and then it just, that's it. Is burnout. People don't get that Westbrook is just a liability. Like he's gonna make a good play here and there, but he's a pain. So many reckless, careless, out of control things. They had plenty of time to rest too, so that's not even an issue. Like, they had the few days. Yeah, Westbrook has made so many careless turnovers just for no reason, unforced. The Shea had a good game. Jokic was fine, but it's just not enough. You know, I say he's got to have 50, and even if he did, he'll still lose. Like, shooting up brick threes and turning it over. What a great player. Put him in the Hall of Fame, first ballot. Oh no, SGA is coming in clutch, even though it's garbage time. Westbrook just threw, what's the word? He just did something 3 possessions in a row. He just fumbled 3 possessions in a row. We got to see some dude spit out his gum or something back there behind him. More interesting than the actual game itself. See, is OKC too young? But they were too young last year when they were still the favorites in that series against Mavericks, and then they keep glazing Minnesota. Yeah, Sam Presti is a god, though, even though you lost Harden and stuff and didn't win with the other team. It really was just like the turnovers and the points off turnovers that would have made the whole difference. Yeah, let them keep breaking threes, but there's no way you're gonna come. I have zero faith now. You're not. That's like the 50th time Jokic has gotten stripped too by. He's expecting a foul and they're just not. I don't always do these reactions, but when I do, my prediction is completely wrong, which I can't remember what I even predicted for the Super Bowl, if I even predicted anything, because I didn't know enough to really predict. But I think I might have said that the Chiefs would lose just because it's hard to obviously three-peat, but I probably wouldn't have said like that by that much. It's actually a lot worse than it seemed based on the final score, because a lot of it was garbage time or whatever late, but it's kind of a boring game ultimately, but it started off so much in Denver's favor, but Sam Presti catching glaze instead of strays. I don't remember the exact context of that one, but Spurs farming draft picks, tanking like they did for Duncan. The real crime would be not to finish what we started, like by tanking and building our franchise like that. Giannis is if he can win, asked if he can win in Milwaukee, similar to the Ben Simmons question. Do you think Ben Simmons can be a point guard for a championship team that you guys want to become? Game 6 Clay versus Game 7 Buddy. How he was so good. Buddy Hield. And Anthony Edwards with the post-victory glaze to make himself look better, like when he says LeBron is the GOAT after you beat him. What do the Lakers need this offseason? Number one, for Braun to retire. That's actually pretty funny. Shannon taking L's on TV and off of it. Shannon Sharp with the whole whatever recording scandal thing going on. Forced 4 turnovers. Caruso. He's like that Austin Reeves sort of vibe where, I don't know, just because they're both white, but no, they have like a certain charm to them that people like them even if they're not always that great, although Reeves has a lot of talent. Oh, is he actually resting Jokic or just giving up? What a suitable... Oh, I wouldn't have given up. Do the Tom Thibodeau thing. Maybe you'll win. Jokic is going to fire Adelman now, too. It's just a mind trick. Now you'll get OKC to sub out their people, and then you'll bring yours back to try to come back. See, it just seems like respectful now to empty your bench, too, but... Like, why not push yourself? Why clear the bench? But I guess if you come back enough, then you keep glazing them, but they just got pushed to game 7, so... Yeah, see, that's the right point. You get spoiled in the regular season beating up on bad teams, and you don't have a lot of those clutch moments, and now you do, so now you can't deal with it. Don't do a Tom Thibodeau moment, though. Now Shea will get injured, and you'll question why he was still in the game. He'll be almost up by 40. Seemed like a little bit too early to do it, but... they seem to... seem to validate the MVP, the fact that they win the... that Shea wins the MVP, the fact that you win this, but that's not necessarily how it has to work. That was a pretty bad prediction, though. I don't always do these reactions, but when I do, I make a horrible prediction. So 7:05 left in the fourth. Just not even close to a contest here. Yeah, I think Minnesota will get destroyed though. They'll lose in like 5 probably. That's one guy who gets too much credit too before really doing anything is Anthony Edwards last year. Oh, you're making it to the conference finals and you're getting compared to Jordan or whatever stupid stuff people do. Like he's good, but they kind of were overdoing it. Looks like he stepped over on the line backcourt. Why are the fans even still cheering? Like it's fucking. Or all these bench warmer 10-day contract players do that. Like they try to pad their own stats, so it gives them credibility for not only next year, like, oh look what I did there, so I get time now, or even for other teams. So there is an incentive there to try to do something yourself. Even that's how down bad you are. That even the bench warmers are cooking you. I was like, oh, it's not hero ball. I'm just trying to earn a contract, or I'm just trying to get playing time. Jamal was supposedly sick. Aaron Gordon is limping or whatever. Look at all the camera shots that you're getting for Sam Presti. Look at the shots they're giving him, man. Even more. This is the Taylor Swift treatment. He's getting more fucking shots than her. And all the. I can't remember if they did that much in the Super Bowl. I feel like they only showed her maybe like once. It wasn't that big of a deal. There's really not much that Nuggets can do. I mean, you're going to keep who you have, but. A disgusting act by Mitchell running up the score. I love that phrase so much. The Joe Buck, a disgusting act by Randy Moss, and I've used that in so many other contexts. Donovan Mitchell, you could have used it in the Cavs series or whatever. It doesn't even have to be Mitchell. It could just be. Or well, Mitchell is a different thing by Joe Buck, where he just the guy's running down the whole field, and what's his commentary running? He says Mitchell, Mitchell, and then whatever, he got down to the 29-yard line or something. He's just saying his name over and over. I don't know who they could even get though. Like, maybe trade Murray. As much as I say he's inconsistent, but what are you going to get for him? Look, that proves it's rigged. How could they say that before the game is even over? What if you get like a T-Mac in a vacuum? Every 13 seconds is 13 points, or 33 seconds. Then, you know, you do a comeback like that level. They shouldn't say for sure it's going to be Minnesota yet. Is it really a veteran Timberwolves team? Like, they're young. Last year was their first year doing anything. And then the clown, the Timberwolves were stupid to get rid of Karl-Anthony Towns because, yes, you made it back to the Western Conference Finals, although you got lucky that Steph Curry was injured. But it's the fact that he helped build that franchise up to the point that it got, and then Anthony Edwards gets all the credit. You might not think, oh, what are you building? But whatever culture, whatever players you had, whatever was there, genuinely, he was the guy. He was the best player for years. And you have the nerve, you dare to get rid of the guy who represented your franchise, and he has one bad series, and you make it almost to the finals, and you get rid of Karl-Anthony Towns. Whereas you could be a legitimate contender if you just kept him, but instead you get rid of him, and then you give Anthony Edwards all the credit and ignore all the years toiling in obscurity to try to get that franchise to the point where it could make that sort of a jump. But you just totally ignore that he built that city up to whatever extent that he could do. Right? You weren't winning anything, but it's just like you have to start somewhere. If you don't have him, right, you don't have that foundation even to build on. So it shows a lack of gratitude for a guy who was your franchise guy. And that seems disgusting a disgusting act by the Timberwolves to do that. I mean, you were better last year when you didn't have that, when you had him instead. Oh yeah, they have the stupid MVP, or no, not for this round, but for the conference finals, they have the MVP of that as well. Like, oh, Curry won that before he won his first finals MVP, even though he deserved the one in 2015. And I did a stat kind of compare. Those are two good stat comparisons. Maybe I should show them. I don't want to watch more of this either, but just, well, it's basically just, I showed you side by side, right? Kobe Bryant's finals MVP stat line from one of his finals that he won, obviously, and then Curry's 2015 stat line, and they're basically identical. right? They're basically identical. So when Kobe does it, oh, he's clutch, he's this, he's that. When Curry does it, oh, Iguodala is better apparently. And then just give it to Pau Gasol then. And then Kevin Johnson versus Isaiah Thomas, career stats and even playoff stats and stuff, they're almost identical. So again, you're ignoring the team aspect, you're ignoring, you know, the defense of your, you know, bad boy Pistons and stuff. So sometimes you give undue emphasis, like Damian Lillard versus Curry, right? Their stats are very similar. Curry obviously has had success in postseason and this and that, but it's just like, it's a lot closer than you might think. But Lillard doesn't have those kind of accolades. He's better than a lot of guys who do. Oh my god. Okay, I'm done.